Hello everyone, welcome to my channel India the Invincible. Today, let's discuss about a beautiful topic that is Indian art. When I say art, it can be drawing, painting, music, drama, and writing. Whatever that is created with imagination and skill and that is beautiful, we call it as art, right? Here, in today's class, I am going to discuss about the paintings and sculptures of ancient India. Alright, now let me ask you something. Why do we do painting? Okay, so most of you have done drawings and paintings, right? So we do paintings to express our feelings and emotions, to share our experience, to exchange ideas, to express surprise, imagination, maybe our thoughts, all these without using words. Okay, now keeping these ideas in mind, let's look at these slides to understand better about the Indian paintings and sculptures. As you can see in this slide, this is Bhimbetka Caves, which exhibits the earliest traces of human life on the Indian subcontinent. They are located in the foothills of the Vindhya range, which is in central India. Hope you remember that last time we discussed about the Vindhya range, right? So they are situated south of Bhopal, which is in Madhya Pradesh state. In the Bhimbetka caves, you can find the prehistoric rock paintings. Here in this slide, you can see single line sketches. See this one, hunting a deer. Here you can also notice the grass in the stomach of the deer. Maybe the artist wanted to show that the deer was eating grass when it was hunted. You can also see that the person is using a bow and arrow to hunt. See another drawing here, encircling the prey. Here also you can see people using different weapons like bow, arrow, knives, etc. These rock paintings mirror the difficulties of the native man's struggle with life and also his accomplishments. One more interesting thing about these paintings are the native man was an expert in simplifying life. See, just by using two or three strokes, he has drawn the animals and humans here. See the expression of ideas here. It can be the experience or what he has seen or maybe the imagination. Isn't it wonderful? Next, we will see the Indus Valley art. As you all know that Indus Valley is one of the earliest civilizations in the world, which is located in present-day Pakistan. In this picture, you can see the bronze statue of a dancer woman. The dancing girl is a bronze statue which is actually dated 4500 years ago and is a rare and unique masterpiece. You know that it was found in the ancient Mohenjo-daro site in 1926. See here, you can see the necklace worn by the lady and a series of bangles covering one arm. Her hair dressed in a complicated fashion, standing with one arm on her hip and lanky leg half bent. So from this bronze sculpture, we get to learn about the social life of the people during that time, right? Even we can see their lifestyle, the fashion, the metals used by them, and the freedom given to women, etc. Now let's check out some of the early Indian art. Now let's have a look at the Gandhara and Mathura school of art. Let's first see where is this Gandhara located. Gandhara art was named after the region of Gandhara, which is located now in Pakistan. This is the place where we can find some of the earliest images of Buddha. This region was ruled by a number of Greek princes for about 300 years and was a meeting ground of the East and the West. So, this Gandhara region had a mixture of Indian, Chinese, Iranian, and the Greek and Roman cultures. So, this Gandhara art is undoubtedly derived from the Greek art. Accordingly, it is also known as Indo Greek art. The Gandhara art mostly consisted of images of Buddha and relief sculptures representing scenes from Buddhist texts. It flourished from about the middle of the 1st century BC to about the 5th century AD in the Gandhara region. As you can see here in these sculptures, though the technique was borrowed from Greece, the art was essentially Indian in spirit. In fact, the Gandhara artist had the hand of a Greek and the heart of an Indian. The Indian subjects were interpreted through the Greco Roman technique. Here, grey sandstone is used to make the sculpture. All that is really Hellenistic is the plasticity and the treatment of drapery. Here, in this standing Buddha, you can see the drapery is separated from the body, but it is arranged in a particular position that certain parts of the body are made visible from underneath the garment. Almost at the same time, you can see another school of art which is called as a Mathura school of art also developed. So here also you can see these sculptures almost similar to the Gandhara art. So now let us see what's the difference between these two schools of art. Okay, so in this slide you can see both the Gandhara art and the Mathura art. So now let's see the difference between these two arts. Okay, so here in the Gandhara art, it's a style of a Buddhist visual art. But in the Madhura school of art, actually later on we can see more of here the Buddhist idols. Previously, it dealt with the subjects from Hinduism, that is both Vaishnava and the Shaiva images. Here in the Gandhara art, you can see the expression of calmness. That's the center point of attraction of the Gandhar Buddha. See the face of the Buddha. The expression of calmness in the face of the Buddha. That's a speciality of the Gandhara art. And here in Mathura, Buddha is delighted in mood. So he is seated in a Padmasana and right hand in Abhya Mudra and left hand on left thigh. And the Gandhara images, if you see, the eyes are longer, ear lobes are shorter, and noses are sharper and better defined. Whereas in Mathura tradition, Buddha images have longer ear lobes, thicker lips, wider eyes, and prominent nose. And another important thing is the material used. So in the Gandhara school, they have used grey sandstone or the lime plaster. And whereas the Mathura school, they have used the red stone for making the sculptures. Here, there is another painting of Lord Buddha from Saranath painting, which was painted in 5th century AD. So in this picture, you can see Lord Buddha meditating undisturbed by the evils and pleasures of life. In my next video, we shall discuss more about Ajanta and Ellora cave paintings. Thank you.